Hi everyone, welcome to Emily Sports Talk. Today I'll be talking about the Phillies in general, their struggles, and what they need to do to turn the season around. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Phillies season so far, pretty much their background on the season and what their season's looking like so far. So the Phillies are sitting at 31-36, last place in the NL East, 9 games back behind the first place Washington Nationals. Their win percentage is .463, and Washington is .603, so they're way above 500. Phillies are under 500. They are 12-19 at home, 19-17 on the road, which is very surprising. And the Phillies are 11th overall in runs, 3rd overall in batting average, 14th overall in on base, and 14th overall in slugging percentage. So the Phillies have definitely had a really rough year this season. You can just tell by the record. And the main reasons why the Phillies are really struggling this year is their offense, their bullpen, their pitching, and their injuries. So the first thing is their offense. Their offense is producing barely anything. As I said before, they're 11th overall in runs, but they really don't score any more runs. You know, the highest I've ever seen them score runs this year was like 9 runs, I think. And you know, some games they don't even score any runs. They have to score runs. Jim Thome has to be consistent. And I'll get into they might need to make some trades, but you know, Jimmy Rollins, he's not stepping up. Of course, Chase Utley and Ryan Howard aren't here, they're injured. Polanco, Mayberry, Victorino, Pence, they aren't hitting. Ruiz is hitting, but you know, this offense needs to hit. Offense and defense wins games, and their offense is just not working for them right now. They need to hit, they need to be more consistent. You know, they win one, it looks like they're gonna start winning start a winning streak, and then there you go, they lose whatever 5-0 or something. So this team needs to get that offense going, because without offense and without scoring runs, you can't just depend on pitching or whatever else. You need to score runs, and this team needs offense. The next thing is the Phillies bullpen. This bullpen, in my opinion, you can't trust them. Even if the Phillies are up by 1 or 2 runs, I just can't trust their bullpen anymore. They used to be a really solid bullpen, and now they're giving up runs, blowing saves, and all this stuff. Their bullpen has to step up and hold down the runs for the Phillies to win these games, because obviously the Phillies are not scoring many runs, and you can tell by my voice right now, I'm really upset with them. I'm a huge Phillies fan, and this is a really disappointing season for me to watch. So this bullpen really needs to hold down these runs. Even if the Phillies are only up by 1, you know, it's their fault for not scoring the runs, and it's also the bullpen's fault for not holding down the runs, because they are supposed to not let up any runs. And 1 or 2 at the most, but you know, they're letting up a lot, and they're letting up a ton of hits too. They're letting runners get on base. The next thing is the Phillies pitching. Now, we used to call them the Aces, and now Roy Halladay's injured, Cliff Lee's winless. Cole Hamels is probably our best pitcher on the team right now. The pitching is really struggling right now, giving up a ton of runs. Cliff Lee gave up a lot of runs, and obviously Roy Halladay is injured right now. So the Phillies pitching is really struggling. This is really hurting our team because the offense isn't scoring any runs either. So we need our pitchers to do their best and our offense to score. The last thing that's really making the Phillies struggle this year is their injuries. They have 11 injuries right now, and this is really hurting the Phillies. Carlos is injured, Ryan Howard's injured, Chase Utley's injured, Roy Halladay's injured, and the list goes on. All these injuries are really hurting the Phillies, especially the Ryan Howard one. Just with his presence in the lineup, you know, it gives the lineup energy, and there's, you know, 100 plus runs batted in that you're missing in this lineup. So the Phillies, you know, there's nothing really you can do about these injuries. I'm just hoping that they come back as soon as possible, and I'm hoping that Ryan Howard and Chase Utley are good as new. I'm doubting they are because of these kind of injuries, but I'm hoping it'll spark the offense in some way. Okay, now I'll be talking about what the Phillies have to do to hopefully turn the season around and make this team better and put them in the right direction of moving up farther in the NL East to hopefully get closer, if they're lucky, to that first place NL East spot. So the first thing I would consider is changing the lineup. I would want Charlie Manuel to just change up the lineup once in a while, move Carlos Ruiz up, he's really good. Shift some guys down if someone's struggling, just shift up the lineup every couple games, see how it goes, and see if something gets going, because obviously this lineup isn't scoring many runs, and I know, Ryan Howard isn't in the lineup, Chase Utley isn't in the lineup, but somehow they have to manufacture runs. So if somehow they can switch up the lineup, see if anything gets going in that way, change it up in anything way that they can, I think it'll help them out a little bit to score a little bit more runs and see how they do when they switch up the lineup, see what happens. The next thing I just want to point out is this team is old. Pretty much everyone on this team is 29, 30 plus. Pretty much everyone's older than 30. And that means, they're getting older. Now, in baseball, obviously, they're getting older. This team is a lot of veteran players, and that can be good and bad, but I think we need some more younger players on this team. John Murray Jr. is pretty young. We have Freddie Galvis, but in my opinion, we need to rebuild, and that can happen by getting some trades, and then through this off season or before the trade deadline, try to get some younger players or get some new players. We definitely need better hitters on this team, so maybe trade for better hitters. But obviously this team is full of veterans. They're older. This team definitely needs to rebuild as soon as they can, either in this off season before the trade deadline somehow, because by the end of this year, Shane Victorino and Cole Hamels are going to be free agents, so they need to pick something with that. Maybe trade Shane Victorino. He hasn't been producing very much. I love Shane Victorino. He's a great outfielder with his speed and stuff, and he's pretty consistent, but he hasn't really been very consistent this year. So, in my opinion, this team really needs to rebuild in some way, somehow, because everyone is 30, 35 plus, 37, all those ages. They're all mixed up like that, so there are some mixtures of younger players, but this team is built around old, veteran players, and I think it's time to rebuild. You look around the league, and the Nationals have Bryce Harper, Jason Worth, all these guys. The Miami Marlins have some young guys, Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez. So you look around the NL East and the whole league, it's time to get some new players, trade, see how things work out, because this team is not gonna improve if they just stay like this and don't do anything with it. And as I said before, maybe changing up the lineup once in a while, getting some trades. They need to do something, because if they keep playing like this, they're gonna be 10 games back, 12 games back, 15 games back. And they'll have to bounce back after the All-Star break, no doubt, to at least get a wild card spot if they're lucky. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Emily Sports Talk. Tune in next time, and